The United Nations support mission in Libya has urged Libyan authorities to stop the mass arbitrary arrest of illegal migrants and asylum seekers in the country. The UN body has also asked the authorities to allow the UN and international non-governmental organizations unimpeded access to detainees in need of urgent protection. The remarks follow a crackdown by Libyan authorities on alleged traffickers in which thousands of men, women, and children have been arrested from the streets and their homes. In the meantime, the International Organization for Migration says 10 bodies of illegal migrants were recovered as 10 others went missing off the Libyan coast in the past 1 week. Immigrants seeking greener pastures in Europe often pass through Libya, attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea. Well, Adel Al-Maroui is in Cairo and joins us with more. Adel, welcome to the program. Adel, what more can you tell us about the UN concerns on the issue of migrants in Libya, and what's the situation of migrants there that they find themselves in, most importantly, as we speak?
Well, migrants remain to be one of the major challenges for the Libyan government. Richard, if you take a look at the country suffering from civil war and political turmoil, divided between two governments, it is quite challenging to control a land border that stretches for 4,300 kilometers between 6 countries, and a coastline in the Mediterranean of about 1,700 kilometers. For any country, that's already a challenge. For Libya, of course, it's double the crisis. And since the latest reports in 2022, there was at least 640,000 migrants in Libya from 44 nationalities living in a spectrum of conditions. Most of the conditions are dire. They suffer from abuse, human trafficking, you name it, abduction, drug abuse, and that's beside the health conditions and the humanitarian conditions for their living status. So in general, the situation has been tremendously alarming. This year alone, we're seeing a spike in illegal migration from Libya into Europe, and that's another dimension for the challenge. 22,000 have been so far succeed to travel from Libya into Europe through the Mediterranean Sea just in the first 6 months of this year. That's already double the figure of about 11,000 during the same period in last year in 2022. So it's only escalating, and the numbers are only getting bigger. And as long as the Libyan government remains divided, with political turmoil just being the main headline for stability inside Libya, this crisis will keep on growing and will put burden on the Libyan authorities and on migrants themselves who live there in tremendous and sometimes humiliating conditions.
All right, Adel, with all that you've said, the IOM said on Monday 10 bodies of illegal migrants were recovered and 10 others went missing off the Libyan coast during the past week. What more can you tell us about this particular incident?
We know, Richard, that starting when the weather in the North African region starts getting warmer, the flow of migrants always rises because the sailing conditions becomes much more tolerable for the poor boats that cross the Mediterranean. Still, it is quite frequent that we see accidents happening, especially when boats are overcrowded with migrants who try to cross the Mediterranean Sea at night. And because of that, there is no report about their locations, there is no one following their safety, and because of this is all an underground network for trafficking people into Europe through that. During the last week, IOM says that more than 600 people have been intercepted and brought back into Libya, and as I told you earlier, we're talking about thousands already reached the European line. So this will keep on going. IOM, the United Nations support mission in Libya, Libyan authorities and European Union authorities too know that they will be expecting a spike during the summertime here, and as it crosses over to the early part of fall before it calms down in winter and the cycle continues.